Hello and welcome to the journey of the Center of Teaching. This is Tiffany. Hi, nice to meet you. So today what I'm going to do is just simply walk you through one, what we use in my classroom during our center time, and then two, how it has started to expand throughout my teaching this year. So some of them I've already started to create, but then I decided to keep going and keep trying to push that technology in the classroom. So without further ado, here we go. All right, so the first thing I want to start with is Mayan. Mayan is a simple AR type of app that our students have that our district has purchased where they are able to get on there and have the book either read to them or they can read it on their own and then they answer some AR questions. So one thing that they loved was that it reads to them. As you can see, many students did not finish books, but the fact that they're even going on there and allowing these books to be read, because it's only the books finished, as you can see. So when there are books finished, it adds to this column, but that doesn't mean that they didn't get on and start reading a text. I told them that it's not necessarily about finishing the book, but finding some books that are interesting to them. So when I'm in a high-risk community, I believe that when you are 2 and 3 grade levels behind, that reading is the main source that you're like, I hate reading. Let's not do this anymore. So this is why I use Mayan. Mayan, as you can see, there's my roster. These are all my students. But even if I decided to do my own thing, let me go to library. You can browse. So I may be into animals. So something that I would do is, dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are cool. So we would do dinosaurs. And then you can click on the book. It tells you the recommended grade level, as well as, I can add this to my list. And then I can open it up and it'll start reading to me eventually. Start the book.
Dilophosaurus versus Ankylosaurus. Weapons Against Armor by Michael O'Hearn. Welcome to Dinosaur Wars. Dinosaurs were brutal creatures. They fought each other and ate each other. Usually, it was meat eater versus plant eater, or big versus small.
Just a quick version of how they read it to you. You can mute it or unmute it. You can have them highlight the words and highlight the sentence. So it's really good, especially since I'm the inclusion classroom. I have plenty of diverse learners, and it tells you how many pages are in there. So I may have started this book, but I need to go to page 14 or 13 in this case. I would just click it, and it would take me to
Ankylosaurus lies still.
I can also take notes. That's also a cool thing where I can highlight, take notes, paint, all of these things that they are able to use. And then when you get to the end of the book,
Ankylosaurus claw.
It should give you a test if it's AR ready. But because we're doing a demo, it's not going to work. Okay, so that's just Mayan. Mayan is very cool. I think that it helps get students more involved, and it also teaches them just how to read with empathy and like just enthusiasm. All right, so the next thing that I like to do is room recess. Room recess is like their free time because we know it's just as cool as cool math. It also has math, which is cool. But for reading, main idea and details is something that my students often struggle with, or author's purpose. So I'm going to click on it. It makes a lot of noise, so I also make them use the headphones with that as well. And the great thing is that they can use it at home and they can use the touch screen. So if we read the short story, tell us what it's mostly about. So, nope, that's not the name. Takes the tree out and they have to certified. Okay, wonderful. Then I get to go to the next thing. And what I love is that right here in this corner, this left-hand corner, I can't because my mouse is loud. It tells you how many you got wrong and your grade. So I just got that one right by accident because I clicked my screen, but then my grade became unique. Okay, and then Prodigy is one of my students' favorite things. I love Prodigy because I am able to, as you see, I can name them, and then we can view the class. There's a class code for them. And then I'm able to just see how they're reacting and how they're interacting. So many of them have placed, as you see, um, so this is not started, but many of them have started this in progress and they're at certain grade levels. Um, they take that placement test and then they get to go on and I get to look at where they are. I teach reading, so they don't really get on Prodigy as much unless they get that free time. You can also connect it to the parents where the parents can view their progress. And they put that email in so then they're able to play it at home. I can create a planner if I want them to do certain things at a certain time. I can look at their progress. It's loading. Okay, great. So there are a few that are working below grade level. Not this one. He's actually a first grader, so he's working way above the grade level that he's supposed to be. But as you see, most of my students are at that grade 4, grade 6 grade level. So we just get to see where they are. And some of them, they didn't take the placement test and jumped right in, which is totally fine. But they also continue to lose their name keys. So a lot of them have had to start over or create a new username. So that's just one thing that I would work on with this application. Okay. And then even if we wanted to just play, so I'm going to put you all into it so you can see what it looks like. Cutest little monster ever. Okay. So all you would do is log in, be a new student, the class code.
First, ask your teacher for your class code and enter it here.
Oh, no, that's not right. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. So, Tipples. Okay.
Create a password for your account. Remember to enter it twice.
Just as a thing. You would like to use my password?
What grade are you in?
Let's say that I'm in first grade.
Here's your login information.
Thanks.
Be sure.
So I would type in. Then my password, as you see, for the first round, it tells you how to type it. And then you would log in.
What does your wizard look like?
I get to create my wizard, which is also very cool. That's a fun thing for them. They often enjoy it. Let's do red hair. That's always fun. And what I love is the different skin colors because, of course, that's one thing that we also try to include is that cultural relevancy. So I think that it's really cool that you can choose your skin color, your eye color, your hair color. And even if it's not just, they might want blue hair that day. They can always go back and change what their wizard looks like.
Are you playing from home or from school?
Let's say school. Talks to you. Eventually, you'll get to go do all these different activities.
Hey, listen, you're going to be.
We're going into it.
The name's Newt. Who might?
Okay, I can choose my fancy name that I like. Say my name is Donna.
Nice to meet you. Let's head over.
Okay, just click.
Hey, look, a monster.
Not having anything else to be
this one.
Okay, very fun part of it.
This is a wizard battle.
Okay, so you get to fight.
To cast a spell,
really cool.
just
it reminds me of me. Just being able to do things with that nature. Okay. Sorry, my communication is my Wi-Fi is a little slow, so everything takes a little bit longer. Okay, so what 3D shape is shown by this net? So I can click on the light bulb, and it tells you the different types. Okay, so that's cool. I can check. I would say, let's say a triangle or a triangle. Oh yay, got it right. Almost didn't get it right. So that's just a quick
when
little...
you cast a spell, your opponent will...
We'll have to do it blister. So we can get it out of there. Square base pyramid. Cute. Again, I don't think okay, so apparently it's about to be 3 rounds. Oh, they missed. So the more questions you get, the more that they get. It won't take down your health. Okay. What is the area of this triangle? What is area? Area is base times height divided by 2. So I would do 5 times 6, which is 30, divided by 2 is 15. Let's pass it. Yay! And I just want that back. So that's cool. I think it's awesome for kids. Just be able to enjoy their math and think in lessons and put it into real action. Yay! Okay, so that's Prodigy. All right, so I will come back to that eventually on my own. Another great thing that I love is Brain Pop. Brain Pop is awesome because this also goes into my redesign lesson. I use Brain Pop every day for my win time, which is what I need, as well as just to get students to have that preloaded information for their whatever the unit may be. So we're doing Anne Frank. So of course I would go into health, click on body systems. We know that she had tuberculosis. So the first thing I started with was the respiratory system. So I would click the video. I'm not going to go through the whole video just for the sake of time. Of course, you need your own login. Yep. That one was expired. Okay, yes, save. So then we click on the video. So what I like about Tim and Moby is they put it in their own type of way. Brain Pop is normally for 3 through 8. And then Brain Pop Junior is for K through 2. So I'm just going to fast forward through the video.
All your cells to make energy so they can function properly.
So it just basically gives
Since
them
you
the
can't
breakdown
store
of
it,
the
your body
respiratory
takes it
system.
in all the
I always
time
like
in a
to do the
process
closed
called
captioning
breathing.
because some
Breathing
students
is
that
the
I have
main
are hard
function of the
hearing,
respiratory system, which in
as well as it
complex
makes the
animals
words
is
bigger for those
responsible
that
for
are
carrying
more
air to
visual
the lungs.
learners.
Here's how it
It's
works in
hard.
humans. Everyone has 2
So when they get to the end, I love to do the quiz. They love to do the quiz. I always do the review because that one just gives them the beep beep that they love, and then it tells them the score at the end, whereas the graded, it immediately knocks it out, and it kind of is discouraging for my students. So which one of the statements is true? If it's wrong, it'll cross it out, and they get to work together to figure out why the answer was wrong, and then they can click it to figure out the answer. Okay, he does the correct. They love that. And then by the end, if they get 100%, he does a little dance. It's so cute. But that's just Brain Pop in a nutshell. There's also very many other cool things that you can do with Brain Pop. Let's just go back to the video I was on. So the respiratory system. And as you see, they have all these different icons. So you can make a map, you can make a movie. The game up is really fun. They really like that. I don't normally use it in my classroom because we don't have enough time in the day. But the News ELA connection is pretty new, and it's really awesome for them because that gives them some more in-depth reading about the respiratory system. Okay, and then normally when we're done with that, I like to start my class with ReadWorks. So ReadWorks is my everything. I love it because it is a close reading passage that's already, pre-questioned, and I teach the kids, of course, how to annotate and to take notes and to summarize. So one that we did was, I like to type in tuberculosis because, again, it was a precursor, and it was getting them to understand, like most of them have never heard of Anne Frank by this age. So, or they've heard of it, but not necessarily what went on and how taxing it was. So what I like to do is find little things that go into that to prepare them for what may come. So this article is called Test Results. You can have it read to them, but it sounds like a robot. And in reading class, we're kind of trying to teach them not to be robots. So I print it off. And you can also assign it if you created an account for them. I love it because it tells you with grade level, how many words, and then the lexile. So I try not to find something that's too high for my kids. The only bad part about ReadWorks is that it's not differentiated most of the time. Some of them are. Some of them are at the 6th and 8th grade level with more words and more difficult vocabulary. But I like to just keep it kind of simple so that they don't just fall back into that mindset of I can't do it. So it comes with the passage, pictures, and it talks about this excerpt talks about tuberculosis, and then the question sets. So these, of course, are multiple choice, but there are also some where they are written. So just like you see, this is a written answer. So when you go to the print, it'll come up as a written. Yep. So I can say that I want it with written answer lines. And it'll probably pop up in my Explorer, but it would look like, oh, no, it didn't. Okay, awesome. So this is what it looks like. It's 8 pages, so that's 4 pages front and back. Again, the reading passage where they get to annotate. I love this part where it gives a structure visual of what it actually looks like and how it affects the lungs. And then these questions I normally let them do on their own or with a partner, especially because they're set in groups. So they're normally at a grade level together. So they're normally banded together according to their RIT scores. And then we really get these rich conversations coming from these questions where they have to go back and find that evidence from the text and explain to me why they believe that that's the answer. To extend it, I normally, for these, of course, because it's multiple choice, they have to write their reasoning or go back and tell me according to line this, that, and the other. And then we go into this was my new technology project a while ago. And then I started having the students go ahead and we started adding more. So this is Lino It with our Anne Frank. They got to see these different things. And as we started to learn, we started to find visuals and add pictures to it. So it's just really cool. I think it's a really cool app because one is a pin board, a bulletin board that they like to use, where you can add these post-its. You find these pictures. So of course, this is naturally from the play where they have the cake from meat that said peace in 1944, and then ironically, that's when they were captured. So this is just a good way for them to collab and work together. This video is awesome. I love that you get to add in video. So this video is from YouTube, but it showed the grit of the Holocaust. So that's Lino It. I think that is really awesome. It's pretty easy to use as well. So you add the photos, the videos. You can attach some things. They love that you can pick the different types of notes. You would just need an account, or you can have the students have an account and they are able to just make this board. And I think that's really nice. But because mine are 7th graders, we are working more together and more closely to monitor what's going on. Another way that I've started to redesign was Pear Deck. Pear Deck is easily connected to Google Drive. We also have Google Classrooms. So I'm able to just drop that link in there. So I have created some decks. As you see, I also created some vocabulary so they get to click on their vocabulary and see if they understand what it is. So like Hitler's rise to power, I will pull it up. I've already pulled it up over here. Oh, that reminds me. So something that I did in my technology class last year is we had to create a digital etiquette and digital literacy. So what that meant was I just went through the slides with my kids, how to be digital citizens and how to be have online proper etiquette for being online. So just going through this with them, they were able to understand that, okay, it's not just that social media that they're always on, but there's actually rules to being a responsible citizen online. So we go over that first before I put them into Microsoft Classrooms and using Pear Deck and different websites such as Lino It and things of that nature. So we're going to go into one of my Pear Decks. So this one was Hitler's rise to power. So I started with that that precursor of tell me some things that you know or don't know. They can draw and anywhere on the slide, so that's really fun for them. We talked about Hitler, so that was one of the things that I love. I love starting the story off with this. this lesson, because it gets them to put in those political views and then put it into what they believe, and just it creates some really rich conversation, especially when they are relating it to our politics now, as well as some Black history that they've been learning. So it's really great, and I love doing Anne Frank at this time of the year. This is my second time doing it, so that's what it is. So I made these slides. Also borrowed some from Teachers Pay Teachers. So we go over it in class, but I also let them. I love this because it's a check for understanding. So of course I have those slides up as well, and then they can say whether they agree or disagree. So that's nice, as well as do they understand, how well did they understand. So this is a great quick checkpoint for me to say, okay, we need to do some more practice, or is this something that we need to continue to work on, or do they all have it? So that's just an idea. I've done it for Hitler as well as World War II, who Anne Frank is, and things of that nature. Um, so that's just a look at that. One other thing that I really love is Plickers. Plickers is awesome. It's a clicker on the phone. So again, we've done these same questions last year, but I get to click it, and we've all done clickers in college. So it's just kind of preparing them, and they get to have that fun thing of using my phone in class, because that is such a big thing for them. So I get to click on the question, and then they get to answer. So I'll pull it up. So let's do a demo class. So we can reveal the answer. So it would show the graph, if they all clicked A, B, or C. And then I can reveal the answer. And the answer is D. So they go, yes, or bleh. And then we explain why. So I go, okay, people who chose A, why did you think that it was A? Sometimes they go, I don't know, I just clicked one because we were running out of time. Or they really have that really rich extension as to why they really thought that was the answer. So that's another great way to just at least get that technology in a good light for them, just using those phones. So they really love Plickers. And Plickers comes with these little cards. So they each have their own individual code, and you can use it one for each class. So it doesn't have to be, you can use the same one. So if this is version 1, I can have a kid that's version 1 in class A, B, and C. So that's really nice. And this is their own special code. And then finally, one thing that we're working on that's finishing with that social action project. I think that that's awesome. So one thing I love is freespirit.com, the kids guide to social action. So it comes with a whole bunch of different cool ideas. And I just think that is pretty awesome, because eventually we want our kids to be, leaders in their community and put things into motion. So one idea that my class had last year was creating that garden in the community, just because they learned in Anne Frank that they had these very harsh conditions, and that they were in the ghetto. And all the time in these communities, they say that, oh, you're so ghetto, and you're so this, and you're so that. So they're like, okay, so to prevent us from having a ghetto, let's build our own community garden. We didn't quite get to it because things started going haywire after a while, but that was just a great thing to hear them think about. We aren't at the end of our section yet, so they will not. We probably won't be able to see their social action project, but this is what it starts to look like, and it starts to develop. So I just let them know that there are kids in like as little as 3rd grade that are creating these types of action projects. So we choose a problem, we brainstorm, and then, we just keep building upon that. So that's about it. That's what I have. I know it's kind of long and drawn out, but this is more so my epiphany. So I've gone from, this Mayon, allowing the books to read to them, to giving them that free time and that freedom to learn these different themes. I really hope that they make something such as Prodigy for reading, and that would be really awesome. Brain Pop, ReadWorks, Lino. So I just basically started to expand my learning, and I think that that's been really awesome. So thanks for tuning in. Please comment below. Thank you. Have a great day.